People deluded. Now, I rarely do these vids, but obviously with the transfer window in January, what being just, we might as well call it 2 days before it's done. It closes on Thursday. And yeah, man, I thought we might as well have one little final talk in January in regards to the transfers we're being linked with and whatnot. So let's start with the one that looks like it's happening, Denis Suarez. Now, allegedly, the talks are at final stages. It's a case of crossing the T's and dotting the I's sort of thing. We know we've been we've been pulled from pillar to post. It looks like it's going to happen, then it doesn't. In regards to signing him, specifics of the deal looked to have been the reason it was delaying. There was talk around Sanye not being able to get on with his Barcelona peers. Can't verify how true that is. Question marks over whether it's a mandatory fee and things. Obviously, there was talk of Denis Suárez needing to renew his contract at Barcelona before going on loan to Arsenal. So yeah, we finally got there in the end. Not Denis Suárez, that's him. Luis Suarez, his namesake and currently teammate until he signs for us, wished him good luck on Instagram. His girlfriend obviously wished him good luck as well. So again, we can't rule out that it might not actually be Arsenal until he actually is holding up the shirt, but it looks to be done essentially. We know he's previously played under Unai Emery. Unai Emery's got one of his men in that regards, and that's one less excuse sort of for some of the fans who, don't get me wrong, Unai Emery needs his own players, but certain people that just put a lot of things down to him just needing his own players. He's got one. Denis Suarez is obviously someone that, regardless of what you think of him, regardless of if you think it's underwhelming or if you would have went for other targets, he brings depth to the side. You look at our bench, there's next to no real options to bring off the bench in several incidences and positions, more so attackingly. We know we're crying out for a winger. I'd describe him as a bit of a wide playmaker more than a winger. They're the same thing, people, of course. And he has got pace and he can be direct, but his strengths are more coming towards the ball, getting the ball, driving, picking passes, link-ups and 1-2s. That's not what I have down as a winger. That's a wide playmaker in my opinion. They're the same things and I'm just trying to be too specific there. But yeah, allegedly, sorry if you heard my email go off as well, people, but allegedly it's a £2 million loan fee. In regards to making it permanent, there's an option for 20 million or just over that. And if he does well in today's market, that's not a bad thing. I support him. Like I said, he's providing a lot of options into our sides. He gives us some options. He can play on the left, he could play on the right, he can actually play in the Ramsey role, and possibly he could be played deeper than that. That would be the last out of all of them I'd play him. But that's around 4 or 5 ways he could be used and more utilised. Keen to see how he'd be used as well, because if he's used in a front three, for instance, obviously people, I believe first and foremost, move these from centre half. Ironically, you'd believe that he's either going to play on the left, play on the right, use his strengths, dribbling with the ball down the flanks, linking up with the midfield, 1-2s and all of them pretty things. You'd think that. Also feel he could play the Ramsey role as well, people. Obviously Ramsey with the pivot, what I mean by that is typically you might see actually 3 midfielders of Ramsey somewhere else, but Ramsey has the run to obviously pick up the ball from deep at times if he wants. Obviously primarily he has to help Aubameyang press and squeeze teams and things like that. That's one way I see him being utilised as well. And admittedly, I don't have all the counters, but if we just look at the diamond sort of formation we've been running with of sorts, yeah, without doing it to specifics, if he's used in that role, that's how I think he could be used. Because obviously, if he's used in the 3, you would think Aubameyang, Lacazette, and him. One of them, well, 2 of them would have to be out wide. One of Aubameyang and Lacazette, you've both seen them do it. Lacazette's been shifted out wide before, and obviously Aubameyang seems to be the guy to do that. So it's a good conundrum. But I think he could look at it like this: he's got his 2 thingies there, he's got his 2 strikers there. He's got Denis Suárez there. Denis Suárez possibly has the freedom to roam and I've got another one here. Let's just say he has the freedom to roam. And obviously if we're a diamond people, our fullbacks have to provide the width on either side, right? They have to provide the width. So he would have the freedom to drift into either flanks, put down neat little 1-2s against the opposition with our players on either flank and things like that. But also if he pulls out, then again, it would, I suppose, would be a bit too open if he was to pull out, because he'd still have to provide width. And I say that because you constantly hear him being referred to as a winger by Unai Emery, so that kind of shows you his makeup or how he wants to utilise him. Like I said, primarily for me, he'll be used on the flanks as a winger/wide playmaker. But his adaptability, the injury crisis at Arsenal, and just different games, different procedures and different tactics bring different results. He could be utilised in a number of roles. And to be honest, as he gets older, he's 25 now, We'll have to see how he develops because he's been used in a bunch of roles. But if you're honest, what is his best position? I believe if you was to ask him where he feels most comfortable, he'd probably say the 10 role because he is one of them sort of players with the technical skill set. So most of them players would love a free, I wouldn't say free role, but a free role sort of thing. So where he's utilised is up to him. And allegedly he's travelling to London today. His agent, Diaz, is already here as well. So it looks like it's going to be done soon. But it's Arsenal, so it will take years. But on a side note, we've been linked with Tielemans as well. Can't understand how we're not in. For me, he actually hasn't developed as much, and I'm still a big Tielemans fan, massive fan of Tielemans, but he hasn't kicked on as much in the last couple of years as much as I've hoped. And I don't know what it's for. It's probably more so because since he's been at Monaco, I think he struggled for consistency. I've seen a better performance than when he first joined, but yeah, man, he got a solid education at Anderlecht, and I haven't really quite seen it, but I still believe in him. I still want him at Arsenal. Allegedly, he doesn't get on with Jardim. You know the circus that is Monaco. Jardim's been reappointed, and he's one of the men they want out. Whether they're trying to get him out permanently or a loan fee. Allegedly, he's en route to Leicester in regards to a swap deal involving one of their players. Our name's been linked with him as well. Now I don't know why we're not going for him, but we're not involved, man. And to be honest with you, I want a central mid. I feel central mid is vital, especially when you look at the pivot, the lack of creativity, and the lack of fluid play from our team. A lot of it stops with the midfield. But in the grand scheme of things, this current window, I believe we're not going to go for it, but I believe the priority should have been a centre-half. Clearly, the club prioritised bringing Denis Suárez, someone that's obviously a fellow countryman in Unai Emery, knows how he works, and more importantly, a cut price available option within our constrictions or financial constrictions, allowing us to pay formulate a payment plan how we want if we do get him permanently, or we have a loan player for the season, which is down Arsenal Street if we ain't got players to sign. So a winger and them things there is clearly of more priority than a central midfielder. We've been linked with Gay as well of Everton. He looks rubber stamped to go PSG. I don't know why our name was there. Probably just there for clout. City was there as well. Ironically, City, you can see why he would be linked with City. Fernandinho replacement or long-term replacement for him, or someone to take the burden off him, sort of thing. I would like Gay at the club. I do believe that we need, I wouldn't say a playmaker, but someone that can build from the back of, from midfield, from them areas, like Barella, a deep line playmaker or something, or box to box, or someone of box to box quality, or someone that's the same as Torreira that can build as well as tackling. But also believe we need someone like Gay as well, because when Torreira drops off form or Torreira's tired and stuff, we go down the pot if he's not in the side. I don't feel it's fair on Torreira because he's only one man. Like you see when teams take advantage and get midfield runners, he can't do it all. He is prone to errors like everybody else. I just feel two tough, tackling, composed sort of men that can play ball, play pass forward, can break down play. Gay's not the most expansive of passers, but he can pass the ball forward, so that ticks the boxes. Decore is completely different, but that would be someone to look at, but we can't afford him. Finally, people, Christopher Nkunku, a player you saw me speak about years ago, well, a year or so ago, he's been linked with Arsenal. We know, I wouldn't say he's been frustrated because I don't know, but on the face of it, he appears frustrated with life at PSG in the sense that it's a difficult task to get consistent game time. He's got a year left on his deal, or just over a year, so a decision has to be made on the 20-year-old. It did look like he was going to join the club under similar circumstances to Suarez on the loan with an option of a permanent. He obviously can play in central midfield, he can play on the flanks, he's had to fill in that fullback for PSG as well. It's not his position, but he's got adaptability, so that would be two bodies in two positions that we kind of need and things like that. If Nkunku did sign, long term he's shown that he can play on the flanks and he's shown he can play in midfield. He's more of a central midfielder to me. I would have had to not question it, but I would have thought, especially what I said earlier about the midfield. How does that shape our plans in regards to the summer? Allegedly, this move doesn't look like it's going to happen, though, people. It's taken too long, and his agents offered some comments. I've got them in front of me. It's tricky. There are restrictions on Arsenal's side. They can't do a straight transfer in the middle of the season. It's being discussed with PSG. Things could happen in the final 48 hours, but it doesn't look good. Christopher Nkunku's agent added on a possible Arsenal deal. You can see I copied and pasted that. The fact that I'm here speaking to you tonight is not a good sign for the deal to happen. His situation will be evaluated in June, then he'll have just 1 year left on his contract, and his situation will be evaluated. He is a young boy, he needs to play, enjoy himself, and to sign up for a project for the long term. That is what he's looking for, and he was in that phase with Arsenal, but it looks complicated. We have to wait, then he is ready to do that. He will wait. So that's someone that is ready to wait either for Arsenal or for a team that's going to believe in him, someone that's going to give him game time or just a project and show that they really care for him. I think PSG care for him as they do a number of young players, because out of all the big clubs, they're bringing through kids. It's not that much, but still, it's still an impossible task. And you want to play football, you're training and traveling with them and things. But how feasible is it that you're going to play realistic football or the manager's going to count on you? Admittedly, I thought he's actually played more than I thought he would this season under Tuchel. So what does that tell you? To be honest with you, he needs to play game time to develop and make mistakes and eradicate mistakes and gain confidence and stuff like that and define himself as a footballer, because he has got ability. If we could go back in for him for the summer, I would as well. Probably our targets will change then, but who knows? In regards to Perisic as well, it doesn't look like it's going to happen from some of the things I read as well. It looks like it's taking too long. It looks like he does want to force the move to happen, but a lot of it depends on Carrasco's future. Ironically linked with both clubs. Allegedly Ozil's been used in the deal, then he's not. So I don't know what's happening with Perisic, but Perisic would be a good signing. Obviously, doesn't provide much resale value, longevity, and on the basis of what we've been told, you'd think it's a waste of wages away from the player. But if we could get him and Denis Suárez on loan, that would be two decent additions. They wouldn't be the two profiles I'd go for, but it would be two decent additions, especially Perisic, man. He'd probably lose all his sauce, but he's someone, he's hardly ever injured, very durable. He's obviously can turn and cut in and stuff with both feet, but one thing I like about him, he's a physical presence, so he could possibly score a decent amount of headers for us, and he's a physical handful as well. He's actually quite big in stature, so yeah, it'd be a good signing if we can get 2 years out of him or so. But then again, if we were to sign him permanently, again, it goes against the backdrop of what we've been told about lack of money and things, and away from the players' opinions. If I just look at Lacazette and Aubameyang's contracts, they're going to be here into their 30s. On paper, regardless, we know Ozil looks to be out, but Ozil's going to be here. Mkhitaryan's going to be here. Socrates is here. Koscielny's still contracted until 2020, and then Perisic should be thrown in. Now, I'm not saying Perisic is going to fall off and things like that, but we can't knock these things. And let's just say we did sign him permanently and he did drop off in form in the second season and he did deteriorate, or God forbid, which would be a typical Arsenal thing, ironically, someone that's hardly ever injured gets a long-term injury and isn't able to play to his standard. Now, for him, it's good because he would have secured a good contract with a good pay at a London club. His family could be settled in London, similar to Italy. But for us, trying to move on the player, it could be tricky if he's not trying to go to China or somewhere to make money, or someone in Europe doesn't want him. So you can see the issue. If we talk about financial constraints and wasting wages and stuff, no resale value and stuff, would it make sense to go for aging assets on a permanent basis? I would sign him if he hits the ground running. Like I said, he's only 29, but I have to consider both possibilities for you guys. If we can get 2 years out of him, or two, 3, then it'll be money well spent. But seeing is believing, and we'll have to see, man. But for now, I thought I'd offer my opinions, and that's that. It's a shame we're not going for a centre-half. Unai Emery's kind of ruled that out. Hopefully we pattern that in the summer, because I do think the club failed to plan in regards to that. You can say, Unai Emery can sit here and say we've got all these centre-halves when they're fit, who plays and stuff, and I get that, but we knew we needed a centre-half, and I still maintain that. Hopefully one's brought in the summer. But for now, people, deluded, stay safe, stay deluded. I'm out. Comment, subscribe.